The Happy Console Gamer and I have gone out to see another movie together. It's called The Cure for Wellness. It's directed by Gore Verbinski, who brought us the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. What'd you think, my friend?
This movie was not a cure for my boredom, that's for sure. This movie was so long. Let's just start off with that.
Okay.
It's a very long film.
Gore Verbinski has this pattern of making movies that are just so ridiculously indulgent and overdone and overblown, and they go on forever. And I'm happy to report that's exactly the case this time. He's got a 2.5 hour slow burn of a picture that has some really interesting, cool, moments and elements in it, and it looks amazing. Like Gore Verbinski.
Yeah, the movie looks beautiful. There's no problem with that. Some
No.
of the cinematography, some of the shots on the train, all that stuff look great.
And there are some cool little shock scares in there. You'll see like this deer run out of the woods. Well, I'm not going to spoil too much, but there's
the CG deer.
Yeah, the CG deer. But decent effects, decent visual effects and stuff in here. It just takes so long, and there's a redundancy, and it's all about this hotshot from Wall Street having to go to this sanitarium to bring back a colleague who has gone missing and presumably crazy. He's writing all kinds of crazy things back to his board. He's supposed to bring him back so that they can complete a merger.
Yeah, sign a deal.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
And this sanitarium exists purely to get people sort of off of the the addictions of business and the ruination of
humanity.
Just constantly just working for dollars. And so right away we've got an interesting kind of setup, because we've got this this dude in a suit trying to kind of do his job and bring somebody back, and
he gets sucked into this as well.
Yeah.
And we're not going to spoil it. We're not going to talk about any spoilers.
No.
Nothing like that. But I do want to say this. I thought the movie was going to be a lot smarter than what it was.
Yes.
I think there was a point I was like, oh my God, this movie's going to be smarter than me
Yeah.
at this point. And when I found out that it wasn't.
I know, because you figure out what's going on about like 20 minutes, 30 minutes into this movie.
Yeah.
And then you got 2 hours left of
and
watching it
keeps
sort of unravel.
On going.
And
yeah.
Dane DeHaan, who's our lead, he does, he's
a good job. He's a good job.
He's a good actor. He's a solid actor. He's definitely an interesting look, a little Leonardo DiCaprio.
I thought that too, yeah.
And it's weird because DiCaprio and Scorsese made that Shutter Island movie, and it's so easy to make that direct comparison. That was a way better, much more interesting movie about sort of getting involved in the craziness of an asylum, no pun intended. But this movie, I think on the page probably,
that's what I want to talk about.
Probably made people very excited.
Who gave this guy the money?
I know.
Who read this script? And I'm not, again, spoiling anything, but when you see the whole movie and how it turns out and what it's all about, I put my hand on my head and I was like, what is going? This is like a weird showcase movie. Yeah. A movie you'd see made by, like a weird European film.
Well, that's kind of the thing, right? It's a Hollywood movie with a big budget, and lots of money was spent on this thing.
Can't believe it.
But Dane DeHaan is the main guy, who's not, universally known. He was in one of the Spider-Man movies. He was in Chronicle. He's going to be in that Valerian movie pretty soon. He's making a name for himself. He's good. And then Jason Isaacs, who's played a bad guy and lots of stuff over the years. And those are the stars that I kind of knew. And then Mia Goth is the female lead, and she was kind of creepy and cool in this thing. And then you got a cast of like 1,000 naked old people.
Naked old people, shrivel up old people.
And they're in like tubes and things, and you just see naked old body parts. Well, a lot of that for this movie.
This movie's like, I don't mind creepy and I don't mind scary, but this movie is just disturbingly creepy for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And now, never mind that. It just goes on forever. I started off saying that, and I can't say. I was sitting in the theater and you said to me, just another hour to go, and I'm like, holy shit, really? I honestly think they could have pushed this movie down to about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And they could have made it work, maybe.
Totally. And you know what? Gore Verbinski has got to find an editor, honestly work with
He's in love with all of his scenes.
Yeah, he did an amazing job with Rango, which was a really cool animated movie. It was a nice, tight timeline. It was a great movie. But, he ruined The Lone Ranger by getting too elaborate and crazy and spending way too much money. And he ruined the Pirates movies as they kept going on with that thing. And he was supposed to do BioShock. Can you imagine? I don't want to spoil this movie, but there are some parallels.
There are some definite parallels to that.
There's some interesting sort of moments of BioShockian. And he was one of the writers on the script. So I'm wondering if he was so influenced by his work, working on developing BioShock, that he kind of went in this direction. But it's not BioShock, man. It is not anywhere near as good as
like,
BioShock.
you know, usually when they cut a movie, the first version is like 4 or 3 hours, and then they cut it down. I swear this is the first version they handed in. It's like, oh, just give it to them.
Totally.
You know, like people in the seats were just like, people were walking out. I hate to say that. You're like, there's one, there's another one.
Yeah, they parachute out. I see that at bad movies all the time. You know, and we just lost one. There we.
I know. And you know, like it was just so. Some scenes are so fucking creepy.
Yeah.
They were so for the sake of it. Yeah, it just felt like a weird indie, European film.
When you got all this Victorian machinery and there's dentistry stuff and eels and
we can't even
things.
talk about the spoilers. There's moments that happen later on in the movie.
Yeah.
I was sitting in my seat in disbelief.
Yeah.
I was like, and I looked at you and you looked at me. Like, is this for real?
Yeah, totally.
Is this a real movie?
I actually liked the ending. The ending was it was a nice kind
of. A little bit cheese. I saw it coming.
It was cheesy, but it was a nice way to cap this thing. But we had just spent so many hours, it felt like, walking down the same hallways, and you said it.
The same thing over and over.
We reenact the same scene 5 or 6 times, and then we finally get to this ending, and it's like, thank God.
I know. Just when you think, and just when you think the movie's over, they play that theme song again, and you got another hour to go. Oh. The movie that never ends, and the director does not want it to end ever.
It is the cure for insomnia, and it's so awful to be seeing a supposedly scary movie like this after playing Resident Evil 7, which is truly harrowing and frightening and scary.
Has moments,
as hell.
absolutely.
Right? And this is not that. What are you going to give A Cure for Wellness?
I'm going to give it a 5, and I'm being generous on that.
Wow, I think the visuals got to you there.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm giving this a 4 out of 10. This is a major disappointment. Hey, thanks for checking out that video on our EPN channel. It's just one small part of the things that we make around here. So if you liked it, don't forget to check out some of our other vids and hit that subscribe button.